Did you know that it's against the law to trade endangered species in Nigeria? Did you know that animals like pangolins, crocodiles, sea turtles, and many more should not be hunted, bought, or sold? The best thing for them and the safest thing for us is to leave them to play their role in their natural habitat. Say no to illegal bushmeat. Keep them wild. Keep us safe.
Nigeria once had giraffes, rhinos, and cheetahs, but we have lost this iconic species forever. And we may lose our lions, elephants, and gorillas too. Be iconic and join me to protect our wildlife. Report wildlife crime and say no to illegal bushmeat, because poaching steals from us all.
Western Spring Television, ours it is.
The Friday edition of Morning Spring right here from Western Spring Television is right here. And as always, we always say, thank God it's Friday. And good morning to you, wherever you are viewing us from, if it is morning anywhere around the world. But by and large, I'll say good day to you as well, because if you have to look at our amazing viewers all the way from Australia, all the way from the Asian part of the continent, and hey, that their time is far above us at this moment in time. I would like to say thank you always for keeping it real with us right here on Morning Spring and on Western Spring Television, the station that says it as it is. The last edition for this week and for this month of September 2023. When we come back on your spaces, on your screen, it will be the second day of the month of October, the 10th month. Wow, glory to God. Tunde Idowu is my name. Welcome you on behalf of the entire transmission team, most especially on behalf of my brother as well. You can join me on X at Irresistible TG. Welcome. And to Femi, in the last 4 minutes before we kicked off, Femi has been wondering, probably we were speaking in tongues. But then, good morning to Femi.
We'll come back to that. Let's do the business. This is very business first. You have some explanations to do and some backroom staff. Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, world. It's a good thing to be here again. Thank God for life. TGIF edition. Femi Ojo is my name. Thank you for staying with us all week. This will be the last one for this week, but then it's going to be a very, very interesting one. On the program, we'll look at very important, topical, trending issues of public importance. That's what we do here at this time, 7 a.m. every weekday, and we are back again. Thank God it's Friday.
Absolutely.
Of course, thank God for life every day. In spite of anything and everything, life is very sacred. And then we are here. Again, Femi Ojo is my name. Femi Ojo Live on X as well. And very shortly, we go to the papers. We are on our social media platforms, on X, on Instagram, and of course on Facebook at Western Spring Television. And we are live right now on our YouTube channel, Western Spring Television, as well. The station, say it, yes, as it is. And, we are hinging. Today is 29th, if I'm not mistaken, hinging towards the independence celebration of Nigeria, October 1st, 1960, and now almost 63 years down the line. We are still together as a nation. Many challenges has happened. Many persons are indifferent about independence. Even the federal government has said they will commemorate it, but in a low key. Nothing, no fanfare, no nothing to reflect the spirit and the mood of the nation at this time. We get to talk about that, in the course of the conversation. What has Nigeria been to you? Hopeful, indifferent, excited, discouraged, disappointed? We get to share these experiences and more. And of course, on our social media handles, you can go there and leave your comments as well. If time permits, we'll read them for you to share with us your Nigerian experience since you have been here. Perhaps there are some persons, of course, many persons who are older than the Republic itself. But then we get to look and talk about that very shortly. But right now, we'll go to the headlines, but that will be after this break. Please stay with us.
All right, welcome back, and let's get down to the business of the morning as we have a couple of dailies with us this morning, and every one of them talking quite a whole lot on so many stories that reflect each other. But I'll kick things off from the pages of The Nation newspaper for today. The Nation newspaper has the big bold headline there: Government to TUC, NLC, respect court order, barring strike. The writer associated to that story from the Nation newspaper says AGF rights unions, Falano, DSS, IG, NSA, it's judicial terrorism. Breach of rights, says Labour. I know, we spoke about this yesterday with Mr. Amici, Comrade Amici, yesterday, that if the federal government decides to go to court, what will happen? And here we are. Let's keep our fingers crossed. We'll see what this looks like at this point in time. All right.
The government are saying there is a subsisting order that the NLC and the TUC must follow in as much as about protest. But it seems we are in for a showdown.
Let's keep our fingers crossed. We'll definitely keep talking about this and moving on. Other stories. Okay, part of the highlights from that story there, it's quite interesting. Let me just see if I can reel them out. Okay, negotiate with states. NEC tells NLC TUC. Tinubu's broadcast will address issues at NUPEC. Bank workers mobilize members. I probably will have to visit my bank today, and the little change that is left there, I probably will collect, so I won't be stranded. The red strip just above that main plate there says, sit tight, leadership breed coup in Africa, says Dawn at Jonathan Lecture. Sit tight leadership. Wow, okay. Yeah, obviously, when you have leaders who want to do the 7th term, the 6th term, and that 18, 90...
manipulating their constitution to favor them over and over.
I wonder.
Sitting perpetually there.
Boy.
Because at some point, through legal or illegal means,
they don't want to be there.
Some persons might just feel there is need for change. Then it doesn't come easy.
It doesn't. It doesn't. All right. Other stories coming further down, all for 63rd independence anniversary. You can see the vice president, amongst others, the chief of staff, amongst others.
The Speaker of the House.
Yeah, the Speaker, Tajuddin Abbas. All right. So
the
many
FCT Minister.
Oh, yeah. Where's just, man in red cap.
Yeah.
I looked at him saying that he sacked 12 FCT directors.
Head of agencies.
Wow. He means business. Other stories, other headlines, I beg your pardon. How Southeast can overcome insecurity by governors and leaders. The writer there says, unity, economic growth, critical. Financial reforms ready for unveiling, says Cardoso. It seems to have gotten to work in full effect, in full speed. Okay, we wish you the very best. Independence, why Nigerians should collaborate with federal government. That's credited to the Vice President, Kashim Shettima. If you're interested in that story, please check it out as well. Let's go straight to the top strip of the same daily, the Nation newspaper. Tribunal dismisses PDP's petition in Kaduna poll. Then you have the writer that says, that's coming in from the governor. My election upheld, Ashiru to appeal. Let's talk about the governor of Edo State and his deputy. And this is credited to the governor himself, Obaseki. I forgive Shuaibu. Shuaibu's aberrant behavior. Governor cautions deputy. All right, Mr. Deputy, he's listened. That's all from the pages of the Nation newspaper for today.
Okay, we move straight to the Punch for today. The Punch newspaper. Indefinite strike. Labour protest as federal government threatens union leaders with contempt charge. Labour protest as federal government threatens union leaders with contempt charge. With riders, threats won't deter us. We are no cowards, says TUC VP. Threats won't deter us. We are no cowards, says TUC VP. Know that right there. Governors ask NLC to shelve strike. AGF says strike will be contempt of courts. Like there is a new twist to the old story. All right, and I think maybe that is one of the cuts of the federal government. Not saying it's not good, by the way, but then I think at a point, maybe the federal government are seeing that these persons are hell-bent on going on the strike. What can we do? You have to tell them there is a subsisting order. You know, if actually there is, you know, everything has to go. Protest is legal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Of course, it's one of the rights, right to assembly, right to movement, and the right to, you know, gather, really, on the matter. But then the AGF, yes, peaceful assembly. AGF is saying, okay, guys, slow down. There is a court order here, but the NLC has said, and the TUC rather, okay, it will be a very interesting 3-4 days ahead now, just before the October, it's the 3rd, October 3rd, deadline that has been given, to the government. Go ask NLC to shelve, governors ask NLC to shelve strike. You know, we spoke on this yesterday. Where are the governors?
They're not
on
speaking.
They should not be up and doing on these, you know, to show that they care on the matter. You know, these persons or everybody is fundamentally, yes, to be catered for by the government. But then the state government are more closer to the people. And I've not really seen, you know, we spoke about the role of the Nigeria Governance Forum yesterday.
Yeah.
They are not spoken as a forum on this matter to say, labor leaders, let's speak with you and let's see how we can help these matters. It's only maybe one or two of them that are speaking.
Everyone of them decided to probably leave it with the Minister of Labor,
the federal government.
The federal government, just, it's their business. But
then if push comes to shows, these persons from Ogun to Oshun to Rivers to Taraba, these persons will be gathering and be protesting in states. Not everybody will be in Abuja. And these are the issues. All right. And of course, we have different pictures here. Umai locks out workers. Protesters cite hardship for lateness. It was quite a very dramatic one at the Secretariat yesterday. The Ministry of Works and the Ministry of Works, rather, with the Minister, Dave Umai, former Ebonyi State Governor, you know, under his directive, locking workers, staffers who came late to work out, and those ones were not having it. You know, a real kind of serious drama was acted there yesterday, in which many of the workers who are shut out of their offices were, you know, it was just agitating, speaking, protesting on the matter, stating that the situation is bad already. They can't come to work as early as their work demands, you know. And at a time, we heard the minister had to give the directive that they should be allowed in. And then when they got in, they didn't just go to the offices. They were still agitating that the minister should come out and speak with them so that they have, you know, an understanding of the matter. But then it was a serious case. You need to see if all these persons were locked out. So which persons were in?
How many of them will have
before that? These are the pictures you are seeing. Umai locks out workers. Protesters cite hardship for lateness. All right. Ogun APC PDP confidence as tribunal rules Saturday. Right. And Ocean accident. 5 Lautech student driver burnt to death. Very sad situation. Very sad. 2 nights ago, when we learned that situation happened not too far from the house there, you know, Shogbo, due to bridge, that's where it was said that the situation, I mean, the sad event happened, an accident, the bus caught fire, and then many persons were burned, some of them rescued, but in very sad and bad situation. You know, when it has to do with bonds rather, it's a very sad situation. Some persons lost their life, students, and plus the driver as well has been reported. We commemorate here, I mean, we commiserate rather the families of those that have lost their lives, especially students and the driver as well. Many figures, many conflicting figures, but then even if it's one person, it's a sad situation. The entire management and staff of Lautech, you know, the families of the students and those that are in the hospitals as well, possibly still written in pain. You know, may God come through for you. And then we hope these will not happen again. It's a very sad situation, especially when you see the pictures and the videos. They are very gory. It's not something you want to do. Art. Yeah. Not trying to frighten us, but to show that maybe if it's in our capacity as drivers, because many stories have been told about what really happened and situations that led to that, we should be calmer. If it's in our situation, I mean, in our part to control the situation, let's obey traffic rules and the rest of it. But then things happen, you know, yeah, we just hope for the best, especially for those that are in the hospitals now, who still have, you know, their life in a balanced kind of a way. We hope for quick recovery for them as well. And of course, kudos to the men of the firefighters who had to go there to rescue the situation. Moving on, federal government targets wealthy Nigerians in new tax drive. Right? So the top strip, academic record. Atiku asks court to overrule Tinubu's objection. Telcos plan different tariffs for calls, data in state. Really? So if I'm in Osun State, there's a chance I'll be paying something different to somebody in Lagos, or in Kano, or in Borno,
or in Ibadan.
All right, we wait to see how that will work out. CBN will spend $3 billion loan to stabilize economy. NEC, that's the NEC, National Economic Council. CBN will spend $3 billion loan to stabilize economy. That will be all from the front page of the Punch for today.
Taking my next set of headlines from the pages of Vanguard newspaper. The Vanguard newspaper is next, and obviously it has the big bold headline, speaks about the proposed strike as well, and it has a headline that says, why you can't go on strike. FG tells NLC, TUC. Quite a whole lot of writers associated to that story. It's actually the same thing there. You can just check it out. But moving further, you have the picture of the federal government, the presidency, that was during the 63rd Independence Anniversary lecture at the banquet hall of the presidency yesterday in Abuja. You have the Vice President Kashim Shettima there. You have the SSG, Secretary to the Federal Government, SGF.
Yes, Government of the
SGF,
Federation.
beg your pardon. Yeah, Georgia Kume there.
Yes.
You have the Chief of Staff, Femi, Honorable Femi Jamia Mila. You have the Head of the Civil Service, Mrs. Folashade Yemi-Eson, there, amongst other dignitaries at the lecture yesterday. All right, coming for the below that picture, Economic Security Summit. Southeast governors, leaders resolve to end insecurity. Please do. Please do. In the Southeast, it's been something else. But please do look for something to do to curtail the incessant insecurity in the Southeast and in Nigeria as a whole. Then other stories there. INEC laments as 241,715 Bayelsa, Kogi, Imo voters shun PVCs. Why? Then Burkina Faso detains 4 officers after failed coup. Burkina Faso, failed coup. All right. From the world of sports there, Pesero drops Sanusi Bassi from Eagles squad. That's towards the international friendly, upcoming international friendly there. All right. He knows why. Just beside the picture of the set of people we can see, the Vice President, SGF, Bajamia, you have this story that says, Mohbad, I had no hand in singer's death. Obviously, I don't have. But that's credited to Naira Marley there. We just been stated that Sam Larry is in custody, looking at Hyundai, the spokesman for the Lagos State Police Command, that he's been in custody just for interrogation and what have you. But we'll keep our fingers crossed. Live well, be happy. Death calls on us daily. That's a reflection on human flourishing in Nigeria, part 3 by Professor Laguda. That's true. So some people gather money and then just keep. You don't know how to enjoy yourself. It's fine time to enjoy yourself. All right. To err is human, to forgive is divine, says Obaseki as he accepts Tribu's apology. Thank you, Mr. Governor. That's a good one. Yeah, we are all human beings. Yeah.
I wonder why you're thanking the governor. What was your interest in this?
As a human being, when you err and you forgive me, whoever, that shows you have a good spirit. That's a good one. Thank you, Mr. Governor.
And we hope the last has been heard about this.
Not heard.
This
face off.
Yeah, this here and there with these 2 people. It should be about the state, really, not just about 2 individuals who are leaders. But it's good to know, to hear that the governor, you need to read through what the governor said. You know, it was an interesting thing, really.
Absolutely.
Actually. But they're not the best of them.
The 2 of them, good guys. Just as that is happening in Edo State, we just hope similar thing can happen here in Ondo State, so that let's work together, live together, and do the needful.
That's a whole lot, a different kettle of fish altogether.
All right, other stories still from the Vanguard newspaper. Tribunal, Northern youths warn against interference in Kano politics. Okay. 63rd Independence Anniversary, FG declares Monday, October 2nd, public holiday. Oh, thank God. Wow. Okay, and Independence Lecture.
If I may prove for that, you said thank God.
Yeah, there's a public holiday on Tuesday.
So
Monday.
How do you enjoy that?
I am happy for Nigerians.
Okay.
No, I'm actually, because they'll have the opportunity at least for that day as well to rest and do the needful.
Because I'd like to know, possibly we are still in the same job, so I'd like to actually there is a holiday for you, because the government has just declared a holiday. That's what I want to know.
Oh boy. Yeah. My own holiday will soon come.
Okay.
Yeah, but then I don't know. I just hope my CEO isn't seeing this, because he's going to be like asking me again.
Back to the job.
Who gave you leave?
Yeah.
Independence Lecture. Your sacrifices won't be in vain. Shetima tells Nigerians. Nigerians are waiting to really see the dividend of these sacrifices at all levels.
And if the vice president is saying Nigerians' sacrifices won't be in vain, Nigerians would like to know, what are your own sacrifices as well? That's the thing. Don't try to encourage us and say, we want to. It's good to know that sacrifices of Nigerians will not be in vain. How about the sacrifices? They should show us as well. Mr. Vice President, Mr. President, governors, deputies, federal ministers, commissioners, and the rest of them, show us your own sacrifice. So that we tell you, Mr. Governor, Mr. President, your own sacrifice too will not be in vain. That's it.
That's it.
Would like to say, I'd like to say. Many Nigerians would like to say, show us what you are sacrificing.
We want to see.
That's very key.
I agree with you. I agree with you. And the last story on the top strip of the same daily, inflation. Manufacturers unsold goods up 45.4% to 272 billion naira. That'll be all from the pages of Vanguard newspaper for this morning.
And on the Nigerian Tribune, the Tribune for today, September 29th, 2023. All right. And it has this very bold headline. Nupeng mobilizes members for October 3rd strike. Nupeng mobilizes members for October 3rd strike. Riders no agreement with federal government to suspend strike. NLC. And respect court order. Don't embark on strike. AGF urges NLC. And moving on, Abiodun Adebutu, no fate tomorrow as tribunal delivers judgment. All eyes will be on the judgment, will be delivered. It's been slated for Saturday between the incumbent governor and his main challenger, Mr. Adebutu of the PDP. Military destroys 34 illegal refining sites. Arrest 59 suspects. Military destroys 34 illegal refining sites. Arrest 59 suspects. 3 Lautech students die in lone accident in Ocean. 5 hospitalized. We read that earlier. I spoke to the conflicting figures that have been given, but then one thing is certain: there has been loss of lives. Very needlessly. Kaduna Tribunal dismisses PDP's petition. I won. Going on appeal. PDP candidate. Judgment. Clear affirmation of mandate given to me. Governor Obasani there. In fact, when the news of this Kaduna State Governorship Election Tribunal judgment was filtering in, it was confusing at some point. There were some major dailies who were reporting that an inconclusive election has been declared, that there will be a rerun in some of the wards and local government. But by the end of the day, maybe when the judgment was finally concluded, that one was just part of the consideration. the purported rerun or the rumored rerun was just part of the consideration of Milot because it was a split decision, 2-1. But like the case, the petitioner's prayer was struck off, and then Governor Ubasani's mandate upheld. But then the PDP candidate there, that she was saying, they are going up on the matter. They're moving, still exploring the options given to them by the process, instrumentality of the law to seek redress further. All the best to him, the parties involved, especially the good people of Kaduna State there. The picture you have here, the picture, I think the National Executive Council meeting that held some of the stakeholders there, on the matter, moving top strip, Adedayo, APC NWC sets up 9-man committee, moves to forestall impeachment. APC NWC sets up 9-man committee, moves to forestall impeachment. The NWC should be the National Working Committee. And then the issue is this that we keep talking about. Where was this NWC or the members of this NWC or the APC, possibly leaders in Ondo State or leaders at the national? This thing didn't just start. It has been brewing for weeks. Okay, all the best to them. Obaseki accept Shaibu's apology. All right. Tunde has thank you the other time for doing that. I wonder why so. But then lastly, for this morning, from the Nigerian Tribune, NEC wants state to carry out energy audit to determine needs. NEC wants states to carry out energy audit to determine needs, with riders begs Labour not to embark on strike. Is this about begging, really?
It's about doing the needful.
Yeah.
Just do the needful.
You want to talk to them, call them for a meeting. Don't just speak to them from possibly the media or through a meeting. You know who they are. You know the leadership. Engage them. They have told you what they want.
Negotiate.
That's the matter. And so when you are begging them, many of them will feel, keep playing. The way they say in local parlance. They play. Says excess crude account now $473.7 million. Okay, that will be all from the front page of the Nigerian Tribune for today.
So quickly, I'll just reel through the page from the pages of the Daily Times for today. The Daily Times has the same headline, just like every other one. NLC will call off proposed indefinite strike if that's credited to an official. But a couple of writers says scoops at President's planned October 1 speech if it doesn't address issues. Nupeng, bank workers in massive mobilization. Give Tinubu more time. That's credited to NEC. And on the top strip of that same daily, customs raked in 686 billion naira revenue for July and August. That's credited to the acting comptroller or comptroller general of the customs at this moment in time. That will be all from the Daily Times for today. And when we return after the short break, Nigeria at 63. Wow. What has been the pains and the gains thus far? Let's talk about this and what does this portend for the future of our dear nation. Stay with us. It's still Morning Spring right here from Western Spring Television, the station that says it as it is. We'll be right back.
Where is your go-to destination for quality content on TV? Stop the search and catch us live. Western Spring Television, channel 190 on Star Times. We take pride in delivering top-notch programs that keep you glued to your screen. From juicy entertainment gist to engaging current affairs programs, politics, exclusive news, sports, drama, gossip, music, and hey, your kids are not left out. These are available in English and Yoruba languages. Also get exclusive premieres, captivating documentaries, and thrilling live events only on Western Spring Television on Star Times Channel 190. It's either you laugh, learn, giggle, dance, or shout on Western Spring Television. It's no boredom zone. We are value driven. So catch us live on Western Spring Television on Star Times Channel 190. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. You can also subscribe and live stream our programs on YouTube. Your television experience just got better. Western Spring Television. Ours it is.
Sports is a culture on its own. It has its own language, its own people, with their own way of life. The world of sports is never void of actions, stories, dramas, and scandals. I guess you need a sports show that can walk the walk and talk the talk.
On this show, we answer all your sporting questions. The whens, the whys, the wheres, and even the what ifs. Sports Spring is that show that will give you that new lease of life you've been looking for in sport journalism. Join me, Joseph Atewe,
And your sports Amazon, Nengi Ernest.
on this station, Western Spring Television, channel 190, only on Star Times.
Let's talk sports. Let's speak the most universal language of the world.
Arrested, affected, sound, found. What do we see? What do we say? Flowing from a spring. A fact A to Z. Check and confirm. Ever is pounding current events. Traveling down from the business gist to the globally arising happenings, to the sports news, to the bittersweet infos. Guided transmission, even diffusion, vast and fast, detailed facts are fled. Within seconds, nuggets of words that flew across borders are fired. Stories short and long, wrapped in bundles of words, broken and dissected as it is, except misheard. This is the news as it is.
Evelyn Ohiole,
Hi.
King Eve. How are you today?
I'm good, I'm fine, I'm alive.
I really feel like she's not giving the right answer to the question. When one asks you, how are you? And you said, you're saying, I'm alive. It's very annoying, seriously. How are you? I'm fine. I feel I'm fine would be the right answer instead of I'm alive. Not that I asked you if you're dead before.
Go and check all these 14-year-old, 15-year-old, 16-year-old, everybody, they are extraordinarily sexually active.
I feel is being unnecessarily hyper when it comes to the issue of sex, because we talk about other topics and it feels so reserved. It really doesn't have anything much to say when it comes to other stuff. But when it's the issue of sex, I believe he's being unnecessarily hyper. That's when I have to pick an issue with him. I mean, it's just being unnecessarily there when we're talking about sex. Just like a child, his mom just got him his favorite chocolate or ice cream, very happy, doing as though if he doesn't have sex for a day, he's going to die.
When it comes to finance, women also support their husbands financially. You need me emotionally. You need me spiritually.
Cassie is an amazing person, but I hate the too much attachment to that gender. I need you spiritually, I need you mentally. I can get these things anywhere with money. If you go by the topic was, who does marriage favors the most? You know how many jobless women they marry every Saturday? They are saying it favors you, Are they vex so?
Growing up, when I was in the world, we've heard of
Who are you now?
Well, MC Too Much said he likes saying when I was in the world, And the last time I checked, well, it looks a bit innocent, facially, but deep down, he's actually out of this world. We're all in the world now. As long as you're alive, you're in the world. So MC Too Much, I better talk about that. I don't want to hear that. Next time you talk about I kiss on us.
I think I have a problem with you saying ladies are champion, and that's the problem. Always trying to attach so much importance to that gender.
It's giving insecurity, it's giving low self-esteem, it's giving a blatant display of egoism. Because at the end of the day, a man who is secured in his words, a man who is confident of who he is, will not really be disturbed as to whether women are being referred to as champions or not. I mean, at the end of the day, Joseph's a really great guy, but whether he likes it or not, women are champions.
Here are 5 amazing fun facts I bet you never knew about Christianity.
Number 1, there are over 2.4 billion Christians worldwide.
Amazing fun fact number 2. The Bible is one of the best-selling books of all time, with more than 100 million copies sold every year.
Most Christians believe in heaven and hell.
The Bible is the most translated book in the world, with more than 3,000 languages.
Amazing fun fact number 5. Most Christians throw science out of the window without realizing that most scientists are Christians. Hello, I am Pastor Steve Akinwumi.
And I am Dr. Adedayo.
All right, you're welcome back. It's the Morning Spring on Western Spring Television. The conversation right now, just like we said during the daily's session there, was about an eat about Nigeria at 63. October 1st, 1960 to October 1st, 1963, that will be 63 years of independence, being an independent nation. This beautiful nation of ours, Nigeria, you know, it's been a long time coming, a long journey. At 63, a 63-year-old person is an adult, possibly
a grandfather,
some will be regarded as, yeah, definitely a grandfather or grandmother, you know, if nature agrees. So, by the way, but then we'll be interrogating Nigeria 63, the journey so far, the promise, the prospect, the disappointment, but then the future. Where are we right now on this journey? In the next 2-3 days, Nigeria will be celebrating, if actually celebrating is the word, or commemorating rather, the anniversary of the nation's independence from the colonial masters. But here we are today, and I'm very happy to tell us that we'll be speaking with 2 gentlemen on this matter to tell us how has Nigeria been to them so far, especially checking at this time the promise possibly that they had or their vision at some point and what it is right now, and then moving forward as a gentleman. I'm very happy to introduce to you, of course, firstly, Mr. Osazee, Isonarae, I want to believe I'm correct with that, the Executive Director, Initiative for Youth Resource Center. Mr. Osazee, good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, listeners at home.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, of course, and an in-house journalist at Western Spring Television, Mr. Adedayo, Oderinu.
Adedayo.
Adedayo.
Good morning, Mr. Femi.
Of course, you're welcome. When I mentioned Osazee, Osazee on the wing was my favorite player. Those days, my very, very favorite player. But then moving on, here we are, Nigeria at 63. Let me start with Mr. Osazee. Is it Uhuru? Is it worth celebrating? It's the as the promise being kept. You know, when you check through the lines of our national anthem, the labor of our heroes past shall never be in vain. Are we still on that line? Is it in vain already?
Yeah. Thank you for that question. Thank you for having me. Good morning once again. It's hard to say, and the records and the facts are clear. Of course, we should celebrate, but we should know what we're celebrating. We're celebrating our numbers. Number 63. That's what we're celebrating. You know, we're not necessarily celebrating our impact. We're not celebrating the progress we've made so far, because it's gone from good to bad, as it were. I mean, we have beautiful stories of our heroes and the vision that they had. Particularly, for example, we had in the days of Ambrose Ali, we had that a Nigerian graduate was highly celebrated with a car and a ready job. I mean, this tortoise car, no matter how it is, but but today there are batches and batches of graduates. You know, from as far as I can remember, Osun State alone produces at least nothing less than 10,000 core members, according to NYC annually, without jobs, without hope. So there's really nothing to celebrate, as it were.
Nothing.
Except numbers.
Are you not into ash at 63? Nothing at all?
Absolutely. As at now.
Yeah.
As at now. Maybe in time to come. Because in terms of our progress as a nation, in terms of our unity, we are more divided than we used to be. In terms of the various sectors, from education to economy, I mean, it was better before now. It was much better. So we've gone from pretty good to bad and possibly to worse. So, so if you ask me as a young person, and also speaking on behalf of several young people out there, it's very disappointing. And but nevertheless, we'll celebrate because we're growing, but we're growing just in you're seeing a lot of people who grow in age and not in maturity and not in impact, as it were. So yeah.
Adedayo, you share the same view?
No, I don't. No, I don't. I think that the growth may not have been what we expect, but the truth is we have grown. I'll take my cue from, say, the year 1999. Okay. At that period, we were practically in the Ice Age, Stone Age. There was no internet. Mobile telecommunication was not present. The digitization we have today was not there. So we may have been growing at snail speed, but don't also forget, when we begin to take our comparisons from countries like the United States, we are going past our boundaries. That's the truth.
How so?
If you want to compare what growth we have achieved, particularly in recent years under this democracy, we should be comparing ourselves with countries who are putting the same years, the same number of years as we have put. All right. The United States of America, for example, will be how many years older? Definitely not 63. And you want to compare your growth indices with those ones? No. They probably at 63 were not here. Or maybe they were a bit further down the line than us. But the truth is, when you compare with the past, you find that we have grown in certain leaps and bounds. Not minding corruption, not minding the nature of our people, not minding the nature of our leadership, we have made some progress. You look at the electoral system. In 2003, you, Femi Ojo, could practically carry a whole booklet of ballot papers and cast your vote for Tunde Idowu in just one election. You alone.
But I did it, and I won't.
Well, thank God you did it. Probably you'll be behind bars. But in 2003, you could literally cast up to 500 ballots with your own thumb. Femi Ojo. Today, is that possible? No. So when we consider the rule of law, the digital revolution, technology, even our civil service, we have come a long way. We have come a long way. But it is easy to forget where we are coming from. Because, of course, we're in the age of globalization where you have access to information from other countries of the world. You have access to information from diverse places, places you probably would not have access to if we didn't have this digital capacity that we have today. But that we are so open to the world is even another index for growth. It is. That Nigeria is not in a cave. Go to North Korea, for example. That Nigeria is not in a cave is another example of how far we have come. That today Nigeria is as a channel to the world. That today Nigeria has fintechs, Nigeria has a government that has a voice in Africa globally. It's some progress. Yes, our progress is hampered by corruption, poor leadership. And I even say all the time that the basic problem we have is not poor leadership.
And it's what?
It's a poor quality of human beings. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, I'll explain. Today in Nigeria, you find a people who do not mind desecrating their environment. It's as basic as you drink water and you drop the container on the road. A white man would not do that. Do you understand? You find the people who, if you play the national anthem here, right now, just 4 of us, you find that at least half of this table will be doing something else. We have no regard at all for our nationality. Do you understand? So you take that attitude into leadership, and what you have is a leader who does not give a hoot about what happens to the country. You take that attitude into followership, and you have followers who don't mind who becomes the leader as long as they get stipends. Do you understand? So I think that Nigeria could have gone further than where we are today if we had a better quality of humans. Before I stop, let me say this. Someone made a joke sometimes about Nigeria, and he said, when God was creating the world, the whites were jealous. He was giving Nigeria mineral resources, environmental resources, lovely weather, beautiful places, diverse cultures. And then they protested and said, God, why? Nigeria alone, beautiful culture, beautiful people, this and that. And then God said, calm down. Wait to see the kind of human beings I will put there. And the moment he dropped us here, and they saw the kind of human beings, I said, okay, it's balanced now. Let them go and let them have their natural resources. We will be like this. Thank you. Thank you.
I hope I will know who gave you that job. Because I'm going to sue him for such a conjecture. By the way.
All right, let's just move on. Mr. Osazee, let's looking at what Nigeria looks like here. Yeah, most people will say it's from fry pan to fire. It's been very terrible compared to the early days. Because if you have to look at in the years, say in the early 80s, where you still had the dollar to like 1 naira to the dollar, you had Pojo being sold at maybe 5,000 naira. And yesterday on this show, we looked at the Guardian of 1992, which was sold at 3 naira. And as a 3 naira then, most of us were still saying, it was too expensive. Yeah. And I wonder how many people still go to buy newspapers these days when you have everything online. But let's look at where we are today. In 48 hours, Nigeria is going to be 63. Yeah. Where did this country, first of all, in your own view, get it wrong? Because some have said the military era had been terrible. The democratic rule in which we have these days is neither here or there. Your own view, where do you think Nigeria got it wrong that has led us to where we are at this time around?
Thank you very much. I like the point my brother here shared, about growth and progress, but I just want to share a little more before I answer the question. I'd like to share a little more based on some of the indices, of growth. I mean, when you're talking about growth, in electrical technology, we have what we call alternating and direct current, AC and DC. And then when you plot the graph of Nigeria map, of Nigeria growth graph, you see that what we have is an alternating.
It's
alternating. It's not a progressive growth. So, and that is why I still say we have gone from bad to worse. And it is very difficult. I mean, look at the two major indices my brother raised: internet and political reforms. For example, I mean, you can't give it to Nigeria when in terms of our growth in fintech and internet. No, it is not. It's not a Nigerian thing. It's a global thing.
But politics is a Nigerian thing.
I'm coming. I'll get to political reform. I'll get to political reform. Now, for example, before 2021, there seems to be a lot of, especially with the involvement of you win things like MSMEs being empowered by the federal government. Of course, if you really want to develop your economy, you really need to look into SMEs. That's one sector to look into. Now, in 2021, Smina gave a report that half of, the people, the number of MSMEs using digital media, to boost their business is just 12% in 2021. I think it's still going down. Of course, there are social media people, doing things here and there, but that's completely different from using the internet to add value to our economy. What about electoral reforms? You have the records as well. I mean, you see that we have gone, take for example, from 2015 to 2019 to 2023, as it were. I mean, the hopes and the aspirations of the electorate, of the people kept going down. They keep getting disappointing up to this very, very last election. So it's very difficult.
I may want to argue that.
No, it's very difficult. So it becomes very difficult to say that we are. I mean, those two, we may look at other indices, but we thought those two indices has been very, very. It's been a worse scenario. It's been from fry pan, using your word, to fire, because ANEC is a mess of itself. I'm sorry to say. I'm sorry to say.
I still may want to argue that.
No problem. Particularly because I mean, there are several issues, very obvious issues, and up to today, I mean, nobody is answering. I mean, we can't get ANEC to answer all of the lapses, all of the, the beavers and what have you, and then. So there's nothing to really celebrate. There's no significant growth in our electoral reforms. Then we can look at other indices. Maybe we look at things around the. Let me not use those words because. But so I really want to believe that we need to be very frank, and we need to be very realistic based on the obvious fact we are not growing. We are not growing as a nation. We should celebrate our number, but we are not growing.
We used to grow before now.
Yes.
We were growing.
Yes,
that's what brought about my question, that where did we now get it wrong?
Yeah, so I think where we got it wrong is at the point where we started building people and not systems, not institutions. We started allowing people to grow beyond our systems and our institutions. And that's the point where, and up to now, we still grow people. The system we have in place, grow individuals, gives so much power, including the electoral reforms.
Can we call that growth?
It's not a growth.
Did we know? This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You said we got it wrong when we started
building people.
Building people.
Yes, giving people.
Growing people.
Growing people.
Did we really build people?
I think building is. I think building is not even
grow people.
Yeah, building may not be the right terminology to use. So we gave too much.
Or elevating individuals over systems.
Over systems. Elevating individuals.
Exploited
exactly at the expense of the system.
Yeah.
So when your systems and institutions are weak in themselves, you go nowhere. It's difficult to grow. It's difficult to grow. So you have individuals rising up and becoming so powerful and they are more powerful than the system. So that's why we missed it. And until we get back to that place, I doubt if we'll really be able to.
Adedayo, you want to respond?
Yes. I want to first do a bit of clarification with the electoral reform thing. I'll talk about an election in 2003. I'm taking my reference from when democracy just came in. I was a witness to the 1999 elections, but I don't want to start from there because that was conducted by the military. So let's not use that. Let's use the one that was conducted by the people, for the people, and by the people. 2003. Now, in 2003, an election was conducted around me. I won't mention the location. And two individuals contested for the ticket of a particular political party I will not mention.
Okay.
And then, by the time the primary was conducted, someone won the primaries. But the powers that be within the party decided that the Lagbaja was not going to run on the ticket. So they went to change his name at the state office of NEC. It was not INEC. Now, they changed his name at the state office. Now, some persons who actually love the person who won the primaries went to ensure that his name didn't change at the federal office of NEC. Now, on the day of election, we had 2 candidates of that particular political party, one of the 2 major political parties today, were on the ballot. The 2 of them were campaigning, asking people to vote for them. So people went to vote, not knowing who they voted for. Correct? Now, when the election was conducted, done and dusted, it remained which electoral officer will announce the winner of that election. I was a witness. I was old enough to understand everything that happened then. I was an active participant in all of this. Now, the electoral officer could not declare the result of that election. The returning officer could not. So they had to move the result of the election to Osogbo to come and argue it. Oh yeah, who is the candidate of the party? Declare a name. And then this person said, okay, let's wait for the resident electoral commissioner to come and declare House of Assembly election. And then the resident electoral commissioner came and declared the name of the person who was in Abuja, the name that was in Abuja, to become the winner of that election. I say unequivocally that cannot happen today. It's not possible. I say that all of the liberty, I say that all of the liberty that we enjoy today to discuss the electoral system, to discuss our democratic evolution, is because we have grown. It's because we have grown to the point where citizens now have a voice. In the year 2003, God bless you, if you say these things on TV, you may not be alive the next day. That's the truth. It was crude. It was simply the strongest man takes the day. Do you understand? But we have come here where we have certain baselines with which to judge the INEC, with which to judge Nigerian Police Force, with which to judge the military. We have certain baselines now that we have all of the human rights to exercise. We can now come on TV like this to say that government is not doing well. Have you forgotten where we came from? We came from a place where you dare not say that government is not doing well. You dare not. You forgot that even the Obasanjo era was a democratic government. But you know, I know, that we didn't enjoy this level of human rights during the Osazee era. You dare not say these things in public.
In democracy?
Yes, in a democracy. That's the truth. But, like I said, I agree that we are not where we should be. We are not where we should be. But when we say we have not grown, I say, it's just that God has given us the grace as Nigerians to easily forget things. I tell you, the day Sani Abacha died, the house we lived in then, everybody went wild. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. A local government chairman under Sani Abacha would flog people with Bilala on the streets of Ejigbo. Caught me anywhere. A local government chairman at the time would pack chiefs and put them in the boot of his car. I say this without sense of responsibility. I know what I'm talking about.
What would be the offense?
Because he said they didn't follow his instructions. You know, chiefs. He would, on a Saturday morning, they would say, why? On a Saturday morning, he would hold Bilala on this and flog people to stupor. That's the truth. But today, Nigerians can. And then let me make reference to the 2023 elections. I say all the time that with all of its imperfections, the 2023 elections is one of the most evolved elections we have had in Nigeria. That's the truth.
Evolved?
Yes. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. I want you to quote figures going to the history of elections in Nigeria. At no time has people's voices been so loud in an election in Nigeria. And the results speak to them. In an election where, up until the moment election was declared, no winner had already emerged in the minds of people. That's the truth. Anybody who contested that election and felt that he was going to win that election, as of Saturday evening, was deceiving himself. That's the truth. It was neck, 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 neck until the last minute. And I say that for all of the political understanding and sagacity and knowledge of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I am certain that he had a good run for his money in the 2023 election. That's the truth. I am certain his blood pressure must have gone high at a point. Because in truth, Nigerians this time around spoke emphatically in certain directions. Now, I have said this over time. I have said that that election was keenly contested. Yes, the most keenly contested election in the history of Nigeria. That's the truth. Now, if it was that keenly contested, and yes, we had cases of skirmishes in a couple of places, yeah. But the truth is, compare with elections in 2007.
No, 2015. What about 2015?
Compare with 2015.
Yeah.
In 2015, my dear brother, in 2015, the voices of people were not so loud. I'll tell you why. In that 2015, there were two people on the ballot, two major people on the ballot. Nigerians had two evils to choose from. And they aligned with one. There was no third force that could speak so loud that year. And I can tell you for free that in 2015, media reportage was not just so loud. There were issues in a lot of places. I can begin to cite examples. I'm a journalist. Yeah. But reportage was not so loud. This time around, there were highs on everybody because we have grown. We have highs now because we have grown. We have mouth to talk because we have grown.
The electoral system is far better than what we had.
Far better. Okay, you are asking INEC now, where is IREV? In 2003, IREV was not on the table. Yeah. In 2015, IREV was not on the table. In 2019, IREV was almost mentioned by Atiku. But the court said, no, it's not in our electoral law. The truth that the court now refers to the electoral law is also proof that we have grown. Because now we understand that there's an electoral law. Forget emotions. The truth is that the electoral law stipulated a couple of things. And unless we change what it stipulates, we cannot say we have not grown. The true index of growth is adherence, strict adherence to the rule of law, not emotions.
Basically,
let me also say this.
Yes.
Now, before you had the question, where
did we adhere?
So that's the point.
Yes,
that's the question. Are we strictly?
Yes,
you use the word strictly.
You see, let me speak like a lawyer.
Yeah.
The law does not recognize emotions. It does not. It does not.
Yes.
There is no point in the electoral law of Nigeria, I stand to be corrected, where it is said that INEC must upload results to the server. No point. I stand to be corrected here. There is an INEC guideline that says we will upload results to IREV. But guideline is not law. It's not. And don't forget, the electoral law then again says that INEC is empowered to set guidelines and follow as it deems fit.
All right.
So you may want to argue it emotionally all you want, but it's not justiciable. Right. You won't go before a court to say, but INEC said in their guideline, INEC is independent, don't forget. Independent of government and independent of your emotions.
Are they truly independent?
Yes, of government and your emotions. But let me talk about the question you asked. You said, where did we get it wrong?
Yeah.
We didn't get it wrong with leadership. We didn't get it wrong with followership. We have always been wrong.
How do you mean we didn't get it wrong with leadership and followership?
We have always been wrong. You see, the Nigerian idea of growth inside of you, inside of me, inside of you, inside of you, is individual growth. I put that to anybody. The Nigerian idea of growth. And this is what causes this prayer. I condemn this prayer all the time. People say, no matter how hard it gets, may I have my way. It's a terrible prayer.
And maybe because they've lost hope in the system.
We have always been like that.
Disappointed.
We have always been like that.
I disagree.
I argue that we have always been like that.
No, I disagree.
Go and bring a clip from Revivers here in 1983. And listen to prayers there.
No, you're talking about religious.
No. See, the prayers you pray.
No, man naturally. Man naturally.
No, not man. No. When you go to America, the average American will tell you, God bless America.
You can't compare.
No. I have to compare.
Man naturally.
It's about survival.
Yes, it's about survival.
And you know most persons are in survival mode.
In some countries of the world, the idea of I passed my neighbor is not so dominant.
And so that the fact that they don't pray, that prayer. I just mean that they don't have a desire.
I just cited that prayer as a reflection of our mindset, of who we are, of what we think about. So when people take 2015 for example,
yes,
the reason people voted Buhari was because we felt Buhari is a strong man. I am agreeing with him. It was because people felt Buhari is a strong man who could whip Nigeria into shape.
and build systems. Build the system.
Unfortunately, it was started as Mr. Integrity.
Unfortunately,
body language thing.
Unfortunately, one man's integrity cannot run a nation. We have got to be looking at manifestos. It's a manifesto that will speak to what we plan to do with the systems, not what we think of the person. Do you understand?
There were manifestos.
There are manifestos here.
Remind me of one thing Buhari said, that told you that Buhari was going to rearrange our systems. Give me one.
No, you should tell.
No, give me one. No, you can't remember because there was nothing.
You should tell.
Because there was nothing. Baba at every campaign, I challenge you. Baba at every campaign spoke less than 10 minutes.
He ran on
so when you see the manifesto,
he ran on this.
We will make $1 equal to 1 naira. That's what he manifesto.
He even said he didn't say that.
He's not
by the way.
He even denied.
That was
that's what he manifesto.
But he ran on this mantra of anti-corruption.
Deal with corruption.
Yes. A better economy.
A question, sir.
And of course, fighting insecurity. I will fight 3 legs.
I will fight corruption. Did he tell you how?
Does he have to tell me?
No, he has to. In America, if you were contesting for president in America, would you just be saying, I will fight corruption? No. You will talk about the specifics.
Yeah, all right. Gentlemen, let's
in the days of Obama and who contested after him, Biden, we were talking about Medicaid. You could know the tiny bits, even from here.
Yeah.
All right. Let's the electoral law, the electoral situation in which Nigeria is at this point in time. Yes, you're giving it a pass mark. That yes.
No, not the pass mark. Not the pass mark. I'm only saying that.
Is that we have grown.
As much as we have not reached where we should be.
We have grown.
But we are better than where we...
You know, stunted growth is different from not growing. They are two different things.
I am sure we are not having a stunted growth, right?
Yes, that's what we have.
But by and large, gentlemen, let's look at what the economy is looking like at the present moment in which we are. Let's not take it too far away from, say, almost 63 years now. Let's look at it from about 30, how many years in which we had 1999 till this point at which I told you, I made reference to the Guardian of 31 years ago. And I saw that at that point it was 3 naira. I think the papers now probably at about 200, 300 naira or thereabout. The economy today, and Nigeria, as we all know, is blessed with varieties of mineral resources. We tend to have all these resources in abundance, but yet the citizens are still languishing. A couple of months ago, we heard about 133 million Nigerians are multidimensionally in poverty. This aspect on its own, the economy, is there a way that this can be transformed? If we have all these resources and still looking at what the world looks like today, we've seen how things grow in China, we've seen how the economy in Germany, as much as they too fluctuate once in a while, but looking at the state at which inflation has crippled this nation, what could be done? 63 years? Beg your pardon. Mr. Osazee, help us out here.
Yeah. So, like I said before, going forward, it's important to tell ourselves the truth. If you're not realistic with yourself, if you don't tell yourself the truth, I mean, if you know the truth, you've solved your problem, 50%. But if you deceive yourself, if you keep deceiving yourself as though there's something, that you have when you really don't have it, then you have a long way to go. Yes, so what should Nigeria begin to look into? If you ask me, I would say the government should begin to look into boosting MSMEs. The last administration, that's one sector that we really need to look into. Stop sharing money. The last administration shared money. This administration has followed suit. I think the last administration, is it 10,000 naira? They call it
5,000 trader money.
Trader money. No.
Market.
You come up with, and then this administration is going down the student loan, palliative sharing, and worth of you.
Student loan is not sharing money.
Well, if you ask me, I mean,
which happens in other countries of the world as well.
Well, so look at it critically. How do people account for that resources? I know people who are, a parent was telling the daughter in UI, immediately UI released their new school fees. They said, look, go get the highest portion of that loan. Said, let them come and arrest me in my house.
You come back to what I was saying.
Come and arrest me in my house. He said, look, I've told your brother in the other school, all of you go out. How do you expect to pay the fee? Go and get the highest portion of that loan. Let them come and meet me and arrest me now.
There are requirements to get the loan, by the way.
It was ignorance.
So it's not as if just applied.
It was ignorance.
So of course, because the ASU came up and they're still looking into that they were not part. So what I'm saying in essence is that they need to do more in ensuring that they domesticate that policy. All right. But then looking at MSMEs, I don't think the government is really doing what it ought to do, because you can't joke with your small business. I mean, that sector has a tremendous capacity to help boost your economy. For example, like I said in the last survey that was done by the I think Smidan, I saw it on Smidan platform, just 12% of MSMEs are using digital media. That's alarming. I mean, we talk about, the age of globalization. So federal government should begin to find ways of supporting and boosting MSMEs. Because when you boost MSMEs, I'm not partisan as well, but let me cite the administration of President Goodluck Jonathan. There were two key interventions with regards to MSMEs, and that is they call one Shopee and another one Win. I personally monitored two of those projects, and I saw how it was well, implemented. Several young people were empowered. I know of a young girl in the north who have a recording studio. She got about 9 million. She employed over 7 people and several other persons. So if the federal government begin to look into this, I mean, 71 million people in extreme poverty, that is alarming.
All right.
That is alarming.
You just spoken about some interventions from previous administrations, talk about the Shopee.
Yes.
But sometimes some of these things depend on who you are asking. Or some will condemn the same Shopee. Talking about say it was a purely political
for partisan reasons, mostly.
At the time. And the APC government of President Muhammadu Buhari had its own these interventions.
COVID relief fund?
No.
Education farmer, people.
No, the 10,000 naira.
Yes, that's they teach.
Empower.
And there was the nicer loans.
Of course, many of these things. So sometimes depend on who you are asking. But now, before we even get to 2023 now, I like us to, we've spoken about the democratic institution, the Electoral Act, the involvement of our democratic process. But let's look at other factors. Angles rather. Infrastructure, education, health. I heard, and I've heard it over and over, even from medical practitioners, that there was a time in this nation, talking about health, that the princes in Saudi Arabia, the royal family, they come to UCH for health services, that it was as good as that.
Of course.
But now it seems the reverse, not that it seems, the reverse is the case.
It's obvious.
When our people want to, access medical care, and I'm talking about the top echelons of society, they move to the other side. There was a time talking about agricultural produce and what we were out, the rate in which we were growing, the cocoa is there, many of the interventions, the pyramids in Kano, those are the days some of us, or would have the old good days in which, seedlings were taken from Nigeria to Malaysia.
For palm oil.
And now Malaysia and Nigeria, in a kind of way, started off almost on the same line, almost in the same year. But now Malaysia is far ahead. Every country has its own challenges. So,
of course,
will you say, I'm not talking to Adedayo now,
thank you,
infrastructurally, educational, health, the critical sector of human endeavor, take it to the rule of law, 63 years down the line, at least in your adult life, how will you read this thing?
Let me first say this. I quite agree with him that we need to do more with MSMEs. But I say that my theory to the growth of Nigeria, to the change of trajectory, because whether you agree or not, we are growing, but not at the rate we should go. Now, but I say that the solution to making things change, making things go faster, is attitudinal change. It starts from each and every one of us. I'll give you 2 examples. Majority of people who took those UN and Shopee funds lavished them. True. Yes, you have isolated examples of people who actually implemented very well. And some of them who sincerely implemented actually failed too because of the challenges that are in the society.
Yeah.
But it does not change the fact that they were sincere.
Yeah.
It does not change that fact. Yeah. But there were people who took those funds and spent them on marriage, naming ceremony,
the
cars, national cake. That's what it appeared to them. Now, this is where it becomes a problem economically. Where you are supposed to invest 9 million, let me take the figure he quoted, in your business so that you can yield funds, you can employ, you can contribute to the economy, and then you can plow back the fund you got back to the national coffers. If you decide to lavish it on a ceremony, for example, what you do is artificially speed up your inflation rate. That's what you do. Because it means you are now taking that money wholesale into the commodity market.
Yeah.
Do you understand? That was why I told someone that the nicer loan that Buhari's government released wasn't our inflation. I see that everywhere. Because where people were supposed to spend them on businesses, on acquisition of equipment, manpower, produce and all of that, to produce, to really be productive, people were taking those monies to the market to buy bags of rice, bags of this. And so we didn't pay attention. Our food inflation now began to speed up. Car inflation, import inflation began to speed up. We didn't take note. But it was because we were plowing money into the economy that was supposed to do something, but people were using it to do something else. People were buying iPhones with loans they got from government. It will shock you that some students will apply for student loan and spend it to buy phones. It will shock you.
I'm preparing.
Do you understand? So I think that
we just hope the money will not be paid to them directly.
I think that at the base,
they should be paid to the schools.
At the base of all of our problems is attitudinal change. You see, government hospitals are not entirely bad. But if you have experienced government hospitals before, I have, you will know that 50% of the problem is government. The other 50% are the people who work there.
People.
Yeah. My brother, I will not mention hospitals, but there was a particular day I had to be in the hospital and I almost shut down the whole place. Very big place.
Why?
I told them I'm going to lock this gate. Why? Because they were supposed to attend to a patient who was unconscious and the doctors were telling me they were in a meeting.
And I meet him.
Yes. Yeah. And I told them that this whole place will shut down. Nothing else will happen.
That's even easy. What about doctors going on strike at the
Do you understand?
So
do you understand?
So
if we change attitude, if we change how we think, I think we have to go on a serious process of national reorientation.
So how do we change attitude? That brings us back to the previous discussion.
Yes.
When we start building people and strengthening our systems.
I have a process.
By talking.
I have a process.
Yeah.
If we want to change attitude,
yes.
You see, if we had not gone bad, it's a different thing. It will mean we are starting from the base.
But the foundation is wrong.
But now we have gone bad.
Yeah.
Now, where it now starts, for us now, is enforcement of existing laws. That's where it starts. There is no law under this heaven that Nigeria needs to survive that we don't currently have. There's none. But what is important is that we shelve our clinical for humanity. These are penchant for let us deal with this as humans. You know, we need to shelve all of those things and truly and sincerely adhere to our laws. If Nigerian police force is allowed to function according to its laws, let me cite the second example I was giving you. I had an altercation with a police officer who was threatening to shoot me. Yeah, he was threatening to shoot me. Now, at the point he noticed that it's like the threat is not going to work, he started threatening Juju. You know that practically that guy was practically leaking his this thing Yoruba there. And he said, "There's no way in Delhi." Now I told him, "Young man, my Delhi." But when I get home, in this is your job, will be history. Now when I go home, I already took down the service number, the details of the vehicle they brought, and then I reported to someone very high up. I will not mention the rank. Someone very, 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 very high up in the police force. And then this person called back after the necessary disciplinary measures had been taken. And this person called back to say, "Yes, sir. Be careful with these boys. So those are the idiots that people recommend to us to employ you." A very high-ranking police officer told me that. I've heard that said recently in one of our stations here, where someone said, "Those are the kind of people they bring to us." Now, let me say this. Let me finish. Let me say this quickly. I think that attitudinal change will get to the point where we all understand that the system is superior
than every one of us.
Every one of us.
That's the point.
So if you commit an offense, not minding that you are in suit, you are allowed to do. If it requires that you are remanded in later, go home for Christmas.
Who should superintend that as it stands now? Because you said the issue is not leadership.
Exactly.
So many persons will argue and say things have gone bad. Who should superintend that move?
You see, the reason I said it is not leadership alone. I didn't say it is not leadership. I said it is not leadership alone.
Okay.
It's 50%.
It's 50% leadership. Yeah, it's 50% leadership. I'll play you a scenario. If I win election to the Senate, and then I say, I will not influence any job for anybody. I will allow people go through the right process of application and get the jobs. I will not win the election.
Your re-election.
I will not win. They will say in 4 years, he did not bring any. Now, as the elected office holder, he's trying to enforce the functioning of the system. The individuals on the streets should also begin to change our thoughts. And it starts from us who are educated. Yeah. The things we say, a lot of these this illiterate, they actually take the authority of whatever they know from us.
Yes, but the electoral officers do not have to have the ambition of coming back. So that 4 thing.
No, I'm just saying. If losing your election will be because you did something else totally, it's a different thing.
Yeah.
But in Nigeria, you will lose the election for doing what should be the right thing.
Gentlemen, because of the want of time, Mr. Osazee and Mr. Adedayo, let's move a little bit further. Thank you. We spoke about something, leadership. It's not about age. Age is nothing but a number.
Yeah, of course.
But if we have to look at it, some have argued that leadership has nothing to do with age. They said some young fellows themselves have not really taken up that advantage. I want us to look at the 2023 election. You made reference to one point I held on, I had to pen down here, that even as a Saturday night of the 23rd of February 2023, none of the 3 major contenders could say I was leading.
Yeah.
It was so dicey.
Yeah.
Even on Monday, I think. I think it was on Monday. Pre to that election itself, we saw that at that time, the youths decided that this was where we were going. But at this point in time, do you agree that the youths are ready for leadership roles at this period in which our nation, Nigeria, is at this point in time?
Yes, I think I agree totally that the youths are ready, even though there's been a lot of disappointment and setbacks. The youths are ever ready, but there's been this alternating flow of raising their hopes high. I give you a typical example. INEC came, whether by, the lawyers know the law, and you came to national TV and gave your word.
Yeah.
And that was what turned out the young people.
Your word is not justice.
No, I'm coming. No. Then we are deceiving ourselves.
You say this is where the problem lies. Now he's arguing against systems.
The point is that when the INEC came out, and INEC said then it was a deception. So INEC said we're going to do this, and several of the young people came out, and said this was the direction we're going to, and then their hopes were so raised, and then slam it again. So the youths are ready, to take, to come into governance, to come into
leadership positions.
Yeah, leadership positions. But the challenge that Nigeria has, which I think he has agreed to as well, is that our systems are too weak to allow the young people. And so it's going to be a challenge of, the violent take it by force. But the systems are still going to crush down that violent. So it's an issue of strengthening our system. So where do we go from here? Let's start from INEC itself. Is INEC really independent? Should INEC boss be single-handedly picked and appointed by one man? No. Let's go back. Let's be realistic to ourselves. Except we're going to end up deceiving ourselves and there's no growth. That's the point.
Yeah. Are young people ready for governance?
Yes.
I say no.
They've been ready.
I say no.
You say no.
I say
why?
No. I'll tell you why.
Okay, I'm ready.
I'll use the 2023 election as my example. The youths were ready in their numbers to vote Obi. Let's mention names. To vote Obi.
Of course, it's obvious.
Unfortunately, what the youth did not amass is the political treachery and mastery. Let me use mastery. Let me not say treachery. The political mastery that it requires to outmaneuver the older persons. The old dogs still know the political terrain better than you do. I say this with all sense of responsibility. I think that Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu won that election fair and square.
No, you can't categorically say that on national TV.
I said, I think.
Don't let's speak to that. Let's speak to other issues.
Because that is a case. I said, I think.
Don't let
No. I said, I think. Even when you look at the issues before the court, you discover that the challenges to his victory are not wholesale. They are in certain states of the federation. Now, let me explain why I said I think he won that election fair and square. Yes, there may have been some treachery, which were not largely on election day. But the truth is, except you want to tell me that something else happened in states other than Rivers, Lagos. Yes, there were issues in those places. That's the truth. There were issues. In Rivers, Lagos, reported issues, a lot of reported issues. Bayelsa, which was not even in favor of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Abuja, maybe because you have arguments over 25%. In Osun, for example, I was on the field on election day. And across all of the polling units I visited, I did not see one Labour Party agent. Not one. Now, if you are going to take leadership, I use this language, if you are going to take leadership, you are going to build roots. It's not a day sprout. They talk about the Chinese bamboo, that you can plant it and in 60 days it will not sprout. But when it sprouts, the roots run very deep. Did you make inroads into the corners? Did you? Did you make inroads into the southwest? Did you? Or did you just bank on Lagos to defeat the other 5 southwestern states? Did you?
You're talking about political mastery.
I'm talking about political mastery here. The youths have all academic and professional qualifications to lead. But academic and professional qualifications do not make you win elections. Politics make you win elections. Politics. I tell you honestly, I was talking to someone who was very realistic with his forecast before the presidential election. And he said, Asiwaju will win that election. He said, but he will win by a margin of not more than 34%. He said his total votes will not more than 34%. Because he was realistic. He already looked at it state by state by state by state. He discovered that while Obi was working so hard and rousing the youth to action, he was not making inroads into the politically strategic locations. And that's where young people miss it. We always love the part where we wear the suit and speak the good English.
So I don't want
But we ignore the dirty parts. And you see, Nigeria will not grow until young people like us take it upon ourselves to do the reorientation for the people who are not privileged to have the academic and professional capacity that we have. Because until we get them on our side, they continue to take the other route. If we take this way, you know the right thing, you know the right thing, you know the right thing.
How do you mean them?
The illiterate. Okay. The 4 of us know the right things. But in this building at the moment, there are more than 30 people. If only the 4 of us do the right things, and 26 other people do the wrong things, the 26 will still form the perception of this building. Do you understand?
Okay. So if you look at the angle of violence that happened in 2023, I mean, you said you
gentlemen, I don't want us to make this about 2023 elections or political parties.
We are talking about the leadership. We are talking the place of the young people. That's our reference. We're talking leadership.
Because some of these cases are still in court. So that
what I'm implementing is, what I'm trying to establish is that, yes, academically, we are there. Okay. Digitally, we have the global vision. Professionally, we have capacity. That's the truth. But even me, seated here, do not have the political capacity to win elections. That's the truth. I don't. Because I consider that the people who are going to give me the mandate. This thing is mandates now. The people who are going to give me the mandate to win this election, I think they are too dirty for me to go and sit with every Friday at a political meeting. Do you understand? So, everything, we are ready. But politically, we are not.
That leads me. Sorry, Femi, I know you. But that leads me to the point at which let's look at. I want us to still talk about that aspect of leadership, but look at the speed at which the young ones are crossing the Mediterranean Sea. They're crossing through the Sahara Desert for greener pasture. The Japa syndrome. That's just one thing that is.
I wonder why you have not Japan.
But just of recent, a couple of days ago, I think we all saw that 2 more Nigerians were appointed by President Joe Biden into the advisory council. 2 Nigerian Americans now. If we look at the rate at which Nigerian doctors are well treated and the work they do outside this nation and in the world at this point in time, the Japa syndrome thing is just what is in the head of every young Nigerian at this moment in time. Do you agree with me that so much talent is embedded in this nation? And why have leaders not tapped into retaining this talent to bring out the very best in Nigeria? If you and I, if we have the opportunity at this moment,
I'm not a leader, so you can't ask me to speak for Nigerian leaders.
No, that's
opportunity for what? I'm not a Nigerian leader.
Opportunity to what?
To retain this talent.
Okay.
Nigeria is losing quite a whole lot. I know that most of us in here now, if somebody comes in and says, hey, the opportunity to get out of this country,
I won't take it.
I know.
Trust me, I won't take it.
So the truth is, we will not sit here, to say things that will further upset Nigerian youth. Because hopes were high. Prior to the elections, there were social media you see some images. You see an international passport as an alternative. You see PVC as the first plan. I'm sure many of us say first plan A, PVC. Plan B, international passport. I have young people, I have friends. We have several opportunities to get out of this country. And that's why I give it to every young person out there who is still in Nigeria, who believe in the Nigeria system. It takes a whole lot of emotional strength to live in Nigeria as a Nigerian youth. A whole lot of emotional strength. And as a result of that, I would say, what should government do? Because what young people are asking for, what Nigerians are asking for, is not too much. For example, look at 2020 election, again as an example. All Nigerian youth were asking for was transparency, hopes, allow our systems to work. That's all they were asking for. They're not minding the bad roads that spoil our cars on a daily basis. They're not minding the hospital that kills our wives and children. They are not minding the schools that gives very poor education. And as many, in UK right now, I have a lot of friends who would discuss with them. And a friend was sharing, painfully with me. He said, it's painful to be here. I will do anything less. If Nigeria was, giving me half of what the economy here gives me, I will return back to my country. It's always never palatable to be in another man's land. That's the truth. So all government needs to do, we're not asking for too much, build hopes, be sincere. Let's trust ourselves. Allow us to trust you as a government. Stop deceiving us. If you say to Nigerian youth, I will, or this as an institution, we will transmit your vote to the IRF, do it. If you don't, you have disappointed them. And that's what we're asking for. So, the roads are bad and several, educational systems and everything is done. But please, if government can begin to assure Nigerians they are willing and in sincerity, they are ready to ensure that Nigerians will be comfortable, the systems will work, the institutions will work, Nigerians will stay.
All right.
Nigerians will stay.
Please hold on, so that you just answer together. It's even the Japa thing, either through the Mediterranean, which is most of the times
very expensive.
Very expensive and very risky. Dangerous.
Yes.
Most of
I think the risk is part of the expense. It can cost you your life.
People say, I don't care.
Either through the desert or the Mediterranean, or you fly through the airport. One thing is sure, it's experiences of people, even that have crossed to the other side, who have spoken to many persons, including myself, and maybe yours as well, is not always rosy at the other side. The cultural differences there. Many persons don't get settled for years.
The cultural shocks.
Shocks, you know, some of them are traditional and cultural people here, and then you go to the other side, you have to find your feet, policies, you know, to make sure these things work. But the thing is this, Adedayo, people are still moving in droves. In droves. On a daily basis. The last time I visited the immigration office to do something,
to also try to jump out.
No, not exactly. Now we know. Okay. Please hold on. People came, now they are not coming as individuals. People are coming with their families.
Yes, as troops.
It's just, you know, the father, the mother, and their children coming together. Because. And you see that these things keep happening. The cost of traveling keeps getting more expensive. The laws they are getting more stringent, but people still want to move. I think we've spoken together at a time in which you said you are not, as a person, you are not buying that because you feel there is much opportunity here. For Nigerians, especially the youth, and especially my own thing is the knowledge economy. The guys who should build are moving. The medical doctors, the ICT guys, most banks are having issues
Canada
with the
has a new
ICT
policy
because
for the
many
IT
persons
guys
are moving.
now.
Adedayo, it seems it's not stopping.
About Japa?
Yes.
My thoughts about Japa are quite complicated. Give me a few minutes to explain them. I think that I used to be interested in it until I sat myself down and told myself some very ugly truths. I think that the average Nigerian, in fact, the disposition of our government is rent-seeking. It's our disposition. It's our disposition to every issue of national life. By rent-seeking in governance, you'd say the tweaking of government policy to achieve profit instead of process. Instead of process. Like, okay, a government comes in 2015, and instead of follow through a process of persistent growth, now decide to tweak some government policies to achieve immediate profit at the expense of long-term growth. Do you understand? It's the disposition of the average Nigerian.
Sorry to disrupt your thought. This thing you said makes me to ask this question, to just put in, is there anything like a national plan for us that every government that comes in
can continue?
We just go through that route.
I'm going that.
Different strategies, but a national, a Nigerian plan.
I think I'll touch on that route. The average Nigerian believes in quick fixes. If I have a problem now, and there's a country in the world where I will get 20 pounds per hour, let me go there, I'll save money to Nigeria, build a duplex, I'll buy 2 cars, and I'll return home. It's our disposition to life.
It's a recent disposition.
It has always been.
No.
Really, it has always been.
It's a recent, and it's born out of disappointment.
Hold on. Let me learn.
Yeah.
It is a quick fix mentality that bettered corruption. I'll steal enough, I'll build a life for myself and kids, and we'll live happily ever after. Forgetting that the risks that will now surround you will be larger than the money you have. You understand? Where people giving to quick fixes. That's the truth. That's what gave birth to Orijo, even in exams. That's who we are. Now, I'm not denigrating Nigeria, please. I'm just saying that the mentality is wrong. Okay. Now, people want to go to places where they will get a job immediately, save some money, build the life they want. But this is why I also say all the time that while we have the academic and professional qualifications for leadership, the Nigerian youth still does not have the psychological strength to weather the storm that we currently have today. Let me say this.
Is it because they don't have the strength?
Let me say
or
this.
we have been disappointed over and over?
Let me say this. It's sad that the present handlers of Nigeria were Nadeco stakeholders. It's sad that people who fought against certain oppressions then are now involved in oppression themselves. But it tells you about our nature as our recycling nature as a people. So the person who comes after them now will also continue in their footsteps, even though he fought against their methods. Do you understand? Now, but the idea is, while they were fighting Nadeco, it was not 2 years. It was not 3 years. It was not 4. It was not 5. If you want to struggle sincerely to take your country back from people you feel are not treating it the right way, you first ask yourself, who said this? Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. Right. That was an American, not Nigerian. No?
Yeah.
Now, in my little corner, over the course of the past 7 years, through Karakata, we have empowered more than 300 human beings. I don't have money. I'm broke. I came here this morning with Okada. But I've done over 300. Maybe not more than one third of them survived with their businesses. But the truth is, if we take one third, that's 100. Now, if we all decide that we indeed want to take the country back, then we need to grow the psychological strength to stay back and fight. My brother, amassing capacity to change Nigeria is not by making the right decisions in one election cycle. It's not. Now, if you want Nigeria to change, but you are taking your one thumb and that of your family members, 4 of them, you are taking it out of Nigeria, 5 votes. That's change minus 5 votes. 5.
We have to go. Gentlemen,
so for me, the Japa thing is just about our nature. It's rent seeking. We're just looking for quick fixes. That's it.
Gentlemen, at this moment in time, your parting shot. And I'm just going to ask this. You guys help us out. If you were President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the president of Nigeria at this moment in time, what message would you want to pass across?
Yes.
On Sunday. Without the tension, and there is an anticipation that there's going to be a strike, a shutdown on Tuesday.
Or Wednesday.
Is it Wednesday or Tuesday? On the 3rd? Yes.
Wednesday, yeah.
What message would you come up with as your first Independence Day speech on Sunday? Let me start with Mr. Osazee.
Yeah, so even though a lot of Nigerians...
We have like 30 seconds to that. So I don't take it as a speech.
But you ask as if it's a speech.
I disappointed. But you know, several Nigerians are going to be watching.
Tuesday.
Yes, they're going to be watching from home and abroad to still listen. I would like to give a message of hope. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we need to give a message of hope and follow up with action plans and of what he will do to ensure that Nigeria become what it should be. Okay. So,
Adedayo, 15 seconds.
I'm confused because I don't see how any message of hope will permeate the minds of the average Nigerian.
Action plan.
Well, action will not start on Sunday now.
Yeah,
but I think what he should be saying on Sunday, 4 things. He should speak to 4 things. Number 1, what is happening to the cost of fuel?
Yeah.
Yes, petrol. Number 2, what is he doing to ensure food security and lower the cost of food, reduce the rate of food inflation? All right. Number 3, what is he doing to ensure stable electricity? The average Nigerian, I'm sure he himself, will be more encouraged to stay back if electricity improves tomorrow morning. Yeah, there are lots of things you can do.
So the action plans.
Number 4, tell us what you are doing to stabilize the dollar. The moment we have those 4, I think those 4 touch us the most at the moment. So tell us what you're going to do about those 4.
One more round of questions, just 15 seconds. We won't end the show without asking you. So the people, young person, you work with young person, your center work with young person, and for you, the persons you have spoken to, Nigeria 63, is it a message of despondency, hope, or what will you tell young persons looking at you this morning, Nigeria 63?
So I will not just talk to young persons about Nigeria 63. I will show young persons what I am doing, for which they should do as well. Like Dayo mentioned, what can you give to the country? When your parents disappoint you so much, then you need to grow up as a parent. Yes, you need to, no, don't abandon them. You grow up as a parent and recruit them as a child. Yeah, that's the point of responsibility.
That's the way to go.
That's the way to go. So you grow up and take the government as one of your children.
You're a journalist, but I know you work more with the streets. So what will you be your message for them at this time?
My message particularly to the young Nigerians who had high hopes in the last election is that the journey of winning the next election started on February 24th. Yeah. If we need to change Nigeria, we need to work consistently every day to amass enough capacity to change Nigeria. I say that if I go into any election cycle and I do not have influence over at least 500 people, I cannot say my hope is valid. It's not it's efficient. It's not efficient hope. I say that amass enough influence within your areas of influence, amass enough influence with people, impact people's life, do what you can individually so that when the time comes to do the right things, people listen to you.
what
to
you
do
have
the
to
right
say.
thing.
All right, thank you.
I'd like to thank you both young Nigerians, but I don't know how young they are.
very young.
Mr. Osazee Isonarae, he is the Executive Director, Initiative for Youth Resource Center. I'd like to thank you most sincerely for your taking time out to be with us.
Thank you, Isonarae.
Isonarae. Okay, noted. And Adedayo Oderinu is an in-house, I don't want to say activist, but then an in-house journalist for excellence right here. Thank you, Adedayo Oderinu, for taking time out.
Thank you, man. Yeah.
We'll be back again on Monday on this show, but you can be rest assured that quite a whole lot of other programs are still definitely coming out from Western Spring Television. Channels 190 on our Star Times, and you will definitely enjoy every bit. Do have a splendid weekend. Please, let's have that hope with some action. It will come to fruition. Tunde Idowu is my name at Irresistible TD on X. See you on Monday.
All right. Thank you, distinguished viewers across the globe. Please do well to follow us on our social media handles on X, on Facebook, and on Instagram at Western Spring Television. And of course, we are always live on our YouTube page at Western Spring Television. Femi Ojo is my name. God willing, we'll be back on Monday, and by that time, we'll be greeting ourselves happy independence. God bless Nigeria. Bye-bye.
Bye.
From Moscow to Malaysia, from Malaysia to Miami, Emma love for Shaggy.